Hi everybody. I'm here to do the art talks about Langston Hughes' play Scottsboro Limited, and I'm going to also talk about the trial a little bit. So just to introduce everyone to the trial, the Scottsboro trials were a trial that took place in around the 1930s. So what basically happened was there were 9 black males in the South who were on a train, and there were 2 white women. And the males were in the same car with the white women. And what basically happened is that the black males got accused of raping the white women. And they took this to court, and it was a really unfair trial back and forth. Everyone was against the black children. And at the end of the trial, 8 of the black people were given the death sentence, and the other one was given a life sentence to prison. And I really thought this was unfair because if you look at the trial, the details of the trial, you see how the blacks were basically assumed guilty from the first second they stepped into the courtroom. As it says in the beginning, the 2 women were not really the ones who wanted to bring the black people to court. It was the sheriffs or the cops that arrested the black people at the train station. They were the ones who pushed the white women to arrest and prosecute or persecute the black kids. They were all around the age of 18, 19. There were even some 16-year-olds in there. They were all relatively very young males. And they were basically charged just because they were black. And this time there was a lot of racism going on, and people in the South did not like the blacks. So this trial was really really crazy, and really shows how unfair it was for these black children. There are some letters that you can see about. A letter here. You have a letter from Ruby Bates, who was one of the white women who were accused of rape. They were accused of black people of raping her, and she was sending a letter, and she was saying that it was a lie that the policeman made her tell about the black people. She says the Negroes really did not touch her. There were 2 white males in the same freight cart, and she says they were the ones who touched her. The black boys didn't touch her. They didn't do anything. It was all the white boys who did it, and it was the 2 white boys who got off free. The white boys and the white girls blamed the black people in trial, and whenever the black people would say something, nobody would believe them just because they were black. And you see in another letter how young and innocent these black boys really are. In a letter from Roy Wright, who was one of the black kids, he was writing a letter to his mother when he was in jail. And he was writing how all he wanted from his mother was to send him a piece of chicken. He says, "Be sure to send me the chicken if nothing else, and don't forget that." He says, "You don't have to come because I have your picture and I can look at it." But all he wanted was chicken. He just wanted to eat. He was hungry. He was just a child. These were innocent children that we're talking about that were given the death penalty just because they were black. It shows how unfair life back then was. There still is racism today, but back then it was really prevalent. And Langston Hughes, who was a famous author, he actually wrote a play about this. And you see in the beginning of the play, the judge accuses the black men of raping the women, and when they say no, he just automatically assumes that what they're saying is lying. And whenever he asks any of the white women a question, whatever they said was held to be true just because they were white. You see how the skin color really affects what was going on, and who to believe and who not to believe. If you're white, they believe you. If they're black, they don't. And throughout the play, we see how Hughes is sending a message to us that the only way that we're ever going to stop this is if if the black people stand up for their rights, and if the white people and the black people can work together and fight for their rights. All the white people out there who are just letting this happen, it has to stop. You have to stand up for the black people and stand up for their rights, along with the black people. You see, the black people in this play don't really give up. They say we're going to die. They're about to be killed, but they're still fighting. They're still getting their name out. They still want to prove that they're innocent, and they want the world to help them. They want their story to get out there, which I think it did, because you can see that we're learning it now in school. And just to note, you see how even during the trial, the white people, they keep calling the black people niggers, and they keep saying how they have to be lynched, they have to be sent to death. They say if we let these black people off, what's that gonna show for the rest of the black people? We have to kill these people so that the other black people don't get out of line. And this is what the white people are thinking. They say to kill these black kids at any cost, and I think that it's really wrong. You see how we judge people based on colors, and it also just shows how easily people can be manipulated. All the white people in the South, most of them, a lot of them, they hated these black people just because they were black, even if the black people did nothing wrong to them. They were, through influences of media or family, friends, or stories that were told, they were really manipulated or influenced to believe that the black people were wrong. And you know how powerful manipulation is. You saw how Hitler with the Nazis was able to persuade countries of people that the Jews, the blacks, that they were bad, and they killed over 6 million of them. So knowledge is really power, and it's very dangerous if we don't know things and we just listen to anybody. And I just think that we have to be careful in the future, and we have to help fight for justice and equality, even if it's not for your race. Mankind as a whole has to stand up for anyone, and I think justice should be the main goal of anybody. And if we all fight together to help stop this, even though it's not so prevalent today, that can really help change the world.